And welcome back to another episode of PC419. Sorry guys, it's been taking me a while to get a video out at this stage, but I've actually had a bad cold and getting over a few things at the moment, but I wanted to get through this video in particularly, which I've got a few Aorus products here. You guys would have seen the Twitch stream that I do every Tuesday and actually be changing the schedule around. So do stay tuned on our social medias for that because I want to start probably streaming maybe once or 2 or 3 times a week. But do stay tuned for that. But we've currently got the Aorus RTX 20 Ti gaming box. Let's have a look at that, see what it's worth, see what it's like. Is it really worth the money? Let's find out. Alright, so we're talking about the Aorus RTX 2080 Ti gaming box. Is it worth it for everyone? Particularly, is it going to be something that everyone sort of really needs? If you're running a laptop, would not recommend it for a desktop. But if you are running a laptop and you're looking at having a bit more horsepower, if your laptop is running on Intel graphics, for example, mind you, you must have a Thunderbolt C port or Thunderbolt port on your laptop to actually run this properly, or to actually run it at all. Now, Aorus do have different variants of this gaming box. There is a 2070, 2060, they had a 10 series in this as well. Obviously, this is the 2080 Ti. There's a few things with this that caught my eye, particularly when I was doing the unboxing online on a live stream and actually having a look at the specs and what its really upgradability path really is. There really isn't. There is actually no upgradability path on the RTX 2080 Ti. But the reason being for that is it is water-cooled, which I don't know why they would have water-cooled a graphics card of this size, particularly when you're only running on 4 PCI lanes. That's my main issue with this at the moment. I'll be going through the benchmarks for this. You guys will see a bit of a montage of the video on that, and you can give your opinion on that in regard to what you think of this and if it's really worth it. But particularly, I'm focusing this mainly if you've got a laptop that has no RTX support or no dedicated GPU, you've got Thunderbolt, and you need a dedicated GPU and a dock here at the same time. I don't think personally that this is for everyone, more or less, unless, like I said, you are running a laptop that has no dedicated GPU because you're for business or so forth, but you want to do some gaming in between that time. This is more suitable, but I'll tell you from now, it is not upgradable. It's literally what you buy is what you get. But it is a 2080 Ti, so it should be more than enough to actually play whatever game you like, pretty much at high and ultra settings. But do bear in mind that you are running a Thunderbolt and it's only running on 4 PCI lanes. You're not going to get the full bandwidth of the GPU. So the GPU usage might go up to about 80–90% during the benchmarks like it did for us. But frame rates compared to a dedicated GPU on your laptop or on your desktop is a bit of a different story to there. But guys, let's just get back and just go into the specs of this, see what it's actually got. It's pretty much portability, inputs and so forth and that, because yes, it is a eGPU, but it is also a dock as well for your laptop or for your desktop, for example. But let's have a look at that and we'll have a look and see what the benchmark is all about and is it really worth buying the RTX 2080 Ti? So let's look at some of the specs that the Aorus RTX 2080 Ti gaming box actually has. We'll start with the graphics card. So what gigabytes actually used here, or Aorus is actually used here, is a Gigabyte Waterforce GeForce RTX TM 2080 Ti 11 gig, which has a GPU clock of 1545 and a memory clock of 14,000 megahertz. Now the memory bandwidth for this is 616 gigabits per second. The memory type is GDDR6, and then the memory size is 11 gig. So the digital max resolution on the card itself is 7680 by 4320 resolution, and you can have up to 4 screens plugged into this as well. So the I/O in the back of the eGPU itself, so it's got one Thunderbolt 3 Type-C port, which is obviously connects to your eGPU to your laptop or to your desktop. Has one Ethernet port. Has 3 USB 3.0, so 2 at the back and 1 at the front of the eGPU. And then it's got a video output. So it's a USB-C port for virtual link, but also for data as well. So if you got a USB-C hard drive or a USB stick, you can plug straight into that and use that as well. The PSU they've used is a 450 watt power supply with 2 8-pin connectors. And then AC input is between 100 to 240 volts. So this part of the video, what we're going to be doing is we're going to give you some footage of the live stream of me stripping it down and giving my thoughts on the RTX 2080 Ti gaming box. And then we're going to go straight into the benchmarks itself and see what it's actually like. We did use the Aorus 15G laptop, so do stay tuned for this review as well, coming out in the next week or so on this one. But what we'll do is I'll see what the gaming's like on this. I'll give you guys a bit of perspective what this eGPU can actually do. But if you can actually see here, most of the products that are coming into the PC 419 studio will be going into our live streams. So do stay tuned for that. Check my social medias on that as well. And I'll let you guys know when I'm going to go live next and what product I actually be doing an unboxing with and actually maybe stripping it down, having a play with live. So it gives you pretty much my real perspective to you guys live to see what I actually think of the products that come into the PC 419 studio. But what we're going to do now, like I said, we'll take some of the footage from the live stream, we'll go straight into the benchmarks, and then from there we'll go straight to what I think and what my thoughts are on the Aorus RTX 2080 Ti gaming box, and is it really worth the buy? Let's roll that.
Can be done. Explain in a second. Or if there's a firmware update, pretty cool. That's on this way here. The USB-C cable must be down there, so I'll wrap it to see if I can see inside. All right, so as you can see from here, screws on here so I don't lose them. All right, so it's running a 240mm rad on top, two 120mm fans. Here's the GPU, another fan on here, which is going to sound very loud. Power supply over here as well. But you can look at the GPU itself. It's literally just like a block sitting right on top of a vapor chamber type. See if we can bring it close so you guys can actually have a look at it properly. So you can see here, there's a GPU. I don't know if you can see the block itself. You really can't see it. So it's running a block on top of it, straight to the rad, really short hoses, plastic hosing, it looks like it's in there. But as mentioned before, it's got two 8-pins. So this is the full version of the RTX 2080 Ti. But what I do notice is the power connectors at the back of the graphics card, which you'll get better barrel when you see the review on this, right? If not, I'll get some covers off and we'll have a look at that at the same time, because it is pretty easy to disassemble. If you had another GPU that was actually suited for this, you probably could, as long as the ports at the back are exactly the same. Is it me or does that GPU have sagged? Yeah, it actually does a little bit. It's actually like going down a slight bit. One main concern, honestly, which I don't know why Aorus has done this, they've actually put there's a zip tie. You guys can see that. There you go, there's a zip tie just sitting here. It's wrapped around the whole card, but it looks like it's like supporting the pipes that go on the GPU cooler itself on the pump. I don't know if you guys actually see inside there. A bit too dark. And then on the bottom of the box here, it's got I'll say exhaust ports here, exhaust at the back, and then obviously you got the details on here. It says Aorus RTX 2080 Ti gaming box. But as you can see, it's actually not that big at all. Look, it's literally anything, but if you had to remove the water cooling and put an air cooled card on here, you could do it very easily. If you didn't have to modify this backplate and the ports were in the same spot, even better. But if not, you could actually cut this out and still use this as a gaming box. I don't think there's any issues with this at all. if you had to upgrade this later on. Like I said, you might need to modify the backplate enough just to get the new ports in if you haven't got the same ports configuration. But I don't think there'd be an issue actually using this. And you can see here there's a daughter board back there as well. Right back there where this actually sockets into. There's a board that sits on this as well, so which is actually really good. This is the way maybe it's been installed, design, I'm not sure, couldn't tell you. They may have, brought it down a little bit, so obviously for the pump to aerate a lot easier as well. So if it's on a bit of a slight angle, coolant will go through and then pump straight out again, so you don't get any air bubbles. That could be another reason why for it. And having that slight angle down, about 5-10 degrees could be that's all it may need. It could be an engineering. I personally think that's the only reason why it's not literally GPU circuits from the weight of it. It's actually solid the way it's been put in, and they may have literally just put the GPU that slightly bit down. Maybe dropped it down maybe about 5 or 10 degrees, just so the pump can aerate a lot easier.
Now, what are my thoughts on the RTX 2080 Ti gaming box? But this is a bit of a weird one because yes, it's usable. Yes, it will work. But my concerns are mainly, are you getting the full bandwidth and the full potential of the 2080 Ti in this model here? I'm going to say no. You're not getting it full. You're not getting pretty much really what you want out of it. But what you are getting is a full-blown GPU, and it's not really Aorus's fault in this sense here. It's actually Thunderbolt's fault because you're not getting your full bandwidth of the actual graphics card. Yes, you'll still be able to do video editing. You'll still be able to play games. You'll still do what you like. It is pretty much a dock. You plug your Ethernet port in. It'll most likely charge your laptop if you've got a USB-C charge. It will probably charge your laptop at the same time. So it's just the one cable, and plug everything to the box. It comes with a carry case as well, so it's easy to obviously maneuver around and take around with you. But my main concern is the price. So they retail for about 2,500, or I've seen ones for about 2,400 Australian dollars. It's actually not too bad from price-wise because normal desktop GPU, just out of the box, they're roughly around that price anyway. And mind you, this is a Waterforce as well. So getting an eGPU with its sort of limitations, I'm going to say, particularly because only Thunderbolt doesn't support more than 4 lanes, you are still getting a great eGPU. But to spend $2,500 now at this stage in 2020 on a GPU like this, I'm going to say it's really not worth it because you are limiting yourself back. You might as well get the 2070 or 2060 version, which you may get, not as much bandwidth, because the bandwidth is going to be exactly the same. It's particularly going to be more or less not spending the $2,500 that it's not really worth, in my personal opinion. But people out there want an RTX 2080 Ti and they want a gaming box. And then the other thing about this as well is obviously the upgradability. When we stripped it down, I really didn't see much that you can really upgrade onto it. If it wasn't water cooled, then you can put another GPU in there, most likely. Or if you want to really just gut it out and maybe put another graphics card in there, it probably still work because obviously there is a daughter board at the back there or a motherboard back there that it just goes straight into. But we didn't go that far into it. I didn't want to go fully stripping it down and maybe damaging it or so forth because this obviously just has to go back to Aorus. But going back to what I was saying here, it's an eGPU. There is other ones out there that you can buy, pretty much just make up your own thing. It's got to have a power supply in there, have the exact same I/O. But in this case here, what Aorus have done is pretty much just bought it. This is it. This is what you're going to get. Not upgrading it. That's final. So it's really up to you guys. Is it worth $2,500? I don't think it really is, but people out there may want to buy it. They want an RTX 2080 Ti. They've got a laptop. They haven't got a gaming desktop. They're on the move all the time. They're video editing. They're traveling the world. Probably not now, but when they do travel the world, and obviously maybe esports as well, there is usage for it, But for the home use, particularly, I do think that this would be a waste of money to buy. But if you are on the go and you want to use a full potential of a 2080 Ti, then I'll say, yes, maybe it is worth it. So like I said, it's really up to you guys what you think it's worth, if it's not really worth it or it is worth it. Even if you're doing landing or so forth like that, you get potential out of it, but like I said, you're not gonna get the full bandwidth of the RTX 2080 Ti, even if it was in a laptop or in a desktop as well. You're gonna see a massive difference between the two. But guys, you let me know what you think in the comments below. But I wanna thank Aorus once again for sending me the Aorus RTX 2080 Ti gaming box for us to check out. Guys, like I said, we're doing live streams as well now, so I'll just check out social medias for that. So if you guys want to see something live, pretty much what I'm getting, everything that's in the studio at the moment now, comes on the live stream, do a rundown on it, see what my thoughts are, and that gives you my pretty much live perspective on what I think of the products that get brought into the PC419 studio. But guys, thanks once again for joining in. All our links will be in the description below. Also, we have the Aorus link to there as well. But guys, once again, stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Cool.